So, how many hours would you say that you work a week? The average American would say about 60 or less. In Japan, this number is closer to 70 or even higher. Recently, protests has begun after news has spread of a rise in karoshi. Karoshi is a term in Japan that means death by work. In Japan, workers are expected to work as much overtime as they possibly can and are often given as many as 100 hours a month. Now, this may seem odd to us, but in Japan this is totally normal, as they're a very strict, formal workplace culture. They have very strict dress codes, which can be seen. Can be seen on this visual. And they have very strict ways of addressing and talking to each other. When they address each other, they often go by names such as senpai, which can address somebody that is of higher authority than you in a social group. They could also refer to somebody as sensei. Now, sensei would be a professor or somebody who's very skilled in one specific skill set. There's a few other names that you guys can see on this visual right here. Now, in Japan, it is also typical for workers to be seen as a set group of people. They are not encouraged to work individually, unlike in American culture. In Japan, it is very frowned upon to make a choice on your own or to go out of your way to solve a problem without first getting notarization from a senior person in the group. And as such, there are very strict rules about what one person can do. Their schedules are very set, and they do the same job essentially every single day. One mother reported that her son had been working so much that he would oftentimes go to work, fall asleep at work, and wake up and start working again the next day. This was later found to be a case of karoshi, as her son died at the age of 27 from a suicide attempt, which they ruled in result of his job. Here you guys can see some of the protesters for karoshi, who were protesting the act of working 100 extra hours a month. They are trying to limit and put a limit to this number of hours in Japan, as suicide and heart failure rates are going up. In this visual, you can see a picture of a map. This map shows the rates of suicide based on each continent. Japan has the 14th highest ranking suicide rate every year. There's a few other differences between American culture or workplace and Japan's workplace. In America, our workplace is very informal, and we tend to leave our work at home when we leave. But in Japan, it is encouraged to be a group. These people that you work with, you never seem to leave. When you leave work, you're also with them, and they become part of your social group. Most people become like a family with their coworkers, and they will party and interact outside of work. And the interactions which they have with these people can depend on the ranking that they will receive in their job. This rank in their job is very important in Japan because it is seen as a rank for their family as well. However they rank in their job shows how how their family will be looked at and seen in society. If they're not doing well in work, their family may be put into the group of people who are not considered to be smart or important in Japan, and they can be frowned upon. So in Japan, working becomes a very stressful action, especially with the rise in tension between karoshi and formal attire and trying to fit in the workplace.
Very good.
Amazing.
That
how
was
much
very
you
good. I learned a
know.
lot, that's for sure.
Yeah,